What's the board looking like now?
Yeah.
Still good? Let's close. Okay, so percentage increase. In most cases, when we do VAT, we are going to do percentage increase. Sometimes they do ask us percentage increases somewhere else in the question. So the basic that you need to understand with percentage increase is that we are going to be adding. Okay? We are going to be adding. And when we add, what happens to the amount? The amount becomes bigger. Increase, or we can say it becomes bigger. Yeah? There's nothing wrong with just using simple English as well. Now, let's look at VAT specifically. And we are going to calculate VAT inclusive price. So, VAT inclusive price. Let's say you buy what are we going to buy? Let's buy a car. We buy a car worth 235,000.
Yes.
Without VAT. So excluding VAT. So on this 235,000, there is absolutely no VAT. Now our task is to find out what is the VAT. And when we have that VAT, what is the new price of the car with the VAT included? Now there are two methods of doing this. The one is to get 15% of the amount and then add it to the original amount, and then you get your answer. The method that we are going to be looking at is the percentage increase method. So we are going to say the 235,000, that is the starting amount. And therefore that amount is not smaller nor is it bigger than what it is right now. So the 235,000 is going to be 100% of that amount. So we say 100% is the 235,000. That is 100%. They are exactly the same thing. And we know that what is going to happen is that we are going to have to include the VAT. So we have to plus another 15%. So we have to plus. We don't know what it is yet. It is the VAT. Yeah? All we know is that we have to plus the VAT. But we don't know what that amount is in terms of money. Now, common misconception. People are going to say 15 plus 235. We can never, ever, ever add a percentage and money together. They are not the same thing. So we can never do that. Okay? So, what we are going to do instead is that we are going to say, we recognize that this 100% represents 235,000 rands. We know that. And then we also know that there's a certain amount of money which is called VAT, which is 15%, that needs to be added to this 235 rands in order to get us to the VAT inclusive amount. So we are going to say 100% plus the 15% is going to be 115%. Okay. From this 115%, we go back to the basics of percentages. When we get a percentage, what do we do with the percentage? Over 100. Write it as a fraction. And then we say divide, comma is going to move left 2 places, So from the end, 1, 2, in between the two ones, so it's 1.15. So when we are going to work with the 1.15, that is our factor. So this is all part of your planning. Okay? This is all part of your planning. So in our calculation, we are going to say 235,000 multiplied. Now you can take the amount as it is here when we do VAT inclusive. Then you can take the fraction, or you can just in your calculations show that where this is coming from the 115%. So even though this is part of your planning, this is also going to be part of your calculation. So we are going to multiply by this percentage, which is the 1.15. And the answer that we get here, that answer is going to be the price of the car plus the VAT as well. So this answer that we get here must be more than the answer that we started with, because we have added that into that amount as well. So if your answer at the end of the day is less than this answer, then you need to redo that, because you have not yet included the VAT. Or other, what also happens is that when we calculate 15%, we feel that we have done enough and we have outdone ourselves, and then we move on to the next question. But no, your VAT inclusive amount cannot be less than the VAT exclusive amount. It must be more. So if you calculate 15% only, you have to add that to the amount that you started with. Calculators, what did we get? 275,000. 70.
Yes. 270.
Like that. 270,000, 250 rands. Do we see that this amount is bigger than this amount? And it is always going to be the case. So that is percentage increase. First, you must add the percentage to 100%, meaning that that amount is going to become more than 100%. And that indicates that we have increased. It became bigger. And then your answer is going to increase as well. Any questions? So we're going to leave that one for the Q&A. Okay. So we can take that one.